Welcome everybody to the Geoguessr Reddit League. We are in week 4 in Division 2. I'm joined today by Calamity. How are you?
Hello, doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. We are looking at a matchup between Tall Impala and Radu this week. As you can see from the stats, Radu is sitting in 3rd place, but Tall Impala in 6th. But apart from those difference in standing, the scores are actually pretty close. Isn't that right, Calamity?
Yeah, they're not quite as close as the matchup we just had in Division 1 with GC and CG, but they're still relatively close. Tall Impala's stats are a bit skewed because he had a relatively bad game in Brazil where he only got 14,000 points. But in North Macedonia, I think they both did very well. And on the worldwide map, they both sort of did average. So yeah, their win-draw loss ratio is the same. Radu just having one extra point for finishing in the top half of the table during his loss.
Yeah, so L49's loss was a more significant loss than Radu's, but apart from that, they're pretty close. The one thing that Radu does have on Tall Impala is the aces. He's got 4 of them already heading into week 4, so averaging more than an ace a week. Very impressive from him. Yeah, who do you see coming out on top on this one, Calamity?
Similarly to, again, as we've had prior to that in the Division 1 matchup, I think it just comes down again to how much you practiced. And I know Tall Impala practiced a lot for Kyrgyzstan, and he sort of sacrificed his result last week on the rural world map for it. So he better make something of it.
Yeah, he put in a lot of practice for North Macedonia as well.
Mm.
So he definitely is one who likes to practice. So let's see if that pays off for him. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at the map exactly in Kyrgyzstan. It's created by Topotic with an average score of about 10,000 points. It's been played only about 600 odd times, but it has over 1,000 locations and a very interesting country indeed. It's very small, just like North Macedonia we had in week 1. So the points are going to be very hard to come by in this week. So with that, let us jump right into the match.
I actually think it's a bit bigger than you give it credit for. I think it's like double the size of North Macedonia, if not bigger. But it is more along the lines of North Macedonia than it is Brazil, for example.
Okay, it does feel small, at least looking through things, but that might just be because its neighbors are quite large. So
yeah, that's part of it. Radu's already found out where he is.
Yeah, pretty noticeable spot to start off of with a gas station right there.
I also something to mention for Tall Impala knows where he is as well. If you're thinking like, how did they get that so quickly? This round was actually, I mean, Radu just found the sign for Chalpak, which he recognized, but Tall Impala told me that this is one of the rounds that was used in a different seed for the matchups. And so since he played through all of them before playing his own seed, he just recognized the location.
Interesting. So the same spot showed up in 2 different divisions games, and it pays off to practice.
Not quite the same spot, but close by is what I mean.
Okay, yeah. So okay, it'd be odd to have the exact same
Yeah.
spawn, but if the same road was in it, that would make sense. Yeah, and very noticeable pinpointing locations with the gas station and such right there. Doesn't make it too hard. And as you can see, both players do pick it up, get that ace right off the bat in only about, oh man, maybe only 50 seconds or so, less than a minute for both of those players to pinpoint and get that ace. RC a little bit closer than Tall Impala by about 5 meters, but still both of those scores good enough to give them the ace. Yeah. So not much to go off of right there.
Yeah,
in terms of difference between them.
Didn't really get to talk about much for that round.
Yeah, they just knew where it was and instantly guessed. So we'll see if round 2 can do a little bit more to separate them.
I mean, it can't do less to separate them.
Yeah, true. It can't do any less. Let me get in there. and probably as urban as you could hope for in most of Kyrgyzstan.
And it doesn't have signs immediately, so they will probably take a bit longer than a minute for this one.
Those trees do have that white paint at the bottom of them, like the last road, but it's in a few places, I believe, so it's not too specific.
Yeah, I've never actually noticed that.
Really? That was one
Yes.
of my clues, was the trees along the road at different locations in the country were a little bit different in
Mm.
terms of painting or the type of tree.
I
So,
didn't look at trees. I've got no ideas about trees in general, so probably just
uh,
never paid attention to them.
yeah. Oh, there's actually a little bit of English for Radu, which is a rare sight. It didn't really help him too much.
Mm.
But I believe this is along the lake, if I remember right.
I'm not sure. I don't remember actually. They're both walking the same way, which is maybe a good thing. They're gonna see the same
Maybe.
information.
Yeah, they're
And
seeing the same
well,
information.
Radu's walked into a dead end.
Oh, he knows he needs to turn around.
What does that
L49
say?
moving north. We do have a pretty good sign there for Radu though. Tosh something. He moved too fast.
Mm.
Uh, but that should put him down in the southwest part of the country. At least that's where he thinks he is. L49, however, looking closer to the capital. So they're actually looking at very different places on the map.
Karabulak. Yeah, now I do remember this road or this round. Yeah, it was Tall Impala is roughly in the right place there.
And
And
Radu's
yeah,
not far behind,
you don't
moving up
really
north.
you don't really get those rounds just on the road south of Bishkek very often, and they're just very like not distinct in my opinion at least.
Mm. Yeah, so they at least know the road is somewhat north-south facing. So they'll be using that. And there's a few hotels and resorts they've passed along the way. Maybe that could help them as well. We'll see who drops the first points of the match.
I'd assume both of them.
Oh yeah, who drops the most points first?
Who drops the points more quickly?
Yeah. Another city sign for
Yeah,
L49.
and he sees where it is on the map.
I remember that road construction. That's something. With
Yeah,
horses.
the Tall
That's
Impala is
interesting.
just trying to look at exactly what direction the road's going in to help him pinpoint there.
Mm-hmm. Looking around, trying to judge by some houses. Not the easiest thing to do in Kyrgyzstan. The map isn't as precise. And time will run out on both of them. And for a second, I thought they got the same score, but they didn't.
Close.
Tall Impala got 4,969 and Radu 4,979. So only one digit off, but a 10-point advantage there for Radu in that round.
Yeah, they
So
were.
Calamity, pretty close for both of them. Just
Yeah,
a
they were a
few
bit closer
meters off.
to the town than they thought they were. Yeah, not much they could have done better there. There's not really a lot of stuff to pinpoint or to help you pinpoint there. Not a lot of, like, as you said, like resorts or hotels there. So yeah, probably not going to make too much of a difference.
Yeah, a little bit further down the road, there was some information, but at the actual spawn, a bit sparse. So that pretty well done by both players. Better than I could have done. So let's give them props for that at least. So we'll jump into round 3. Radu with that 10-point advantage. And these trees. See, these trees are skinnier and have a little bit of white at the bottom at some of them. So very different than the broader, very white trunks of the trees before. So that was what I was noticing on my practice rounds.
They're also just way more colorful.
Yeah, I think it's just more the season than anything else.
Yeah.
But and Radu will see a sign, but not sure exactly what that can give him.
Yeah, I don't
Pretty
think
sure
it was
that blue
anything
sign's going to
important.
be a little bit better with that city name. But Tall Impala with a
Yeah,
brilliant map for Jalalabad.
that's a
So
lot
he'll
better.
know that's a lot better. Yeah. It's a pretty decent sign there by Radu too, but I wasn't quite able to play what it said.
Yeah, I didn't recognize anything it said either. I'm I'm still not very good at Cyrillic, so that certainly doesn't help trying to read those signs so quickly.
Tall Impala seeming to pinpoint us on that road. Pretty interesting intersection he's got, maybe recognizable from his practice rounds.
There's not too many of those intersections around near Jalalabad. I think you can probably have like 3 or 4 depending on where you are. It doesn't look like he's where he put us now. I mean, at least from what I get from this location, it looks a bit too rural to be in the center of Jalalabad.
Yeah, he's put us in the city, which doesn't quite seem right.
Yeah, well,
And Radu is zooming in the general location, but he's more towards Osh than Jalabad. He has not seen that sign.
yeah. Tall Impala has just found it, and I think the thing that gave it away for him, I don't actually know if that was dirt on my monitor, if there is actually the rail tracks there. Let me just
double check.
Yes, there is actually rail tracks there.
Okay, so that's what he's using to base him off of that. Radu, though, scanning the map, but not putting down a pin with any confidence yet. So, and he'll now come upon that sign that Tom Paul has had for a while, so hopefully that'll help him zoom in. He still thinks we're further south, at least for the moment. And a second ace. Again, an early guess from Tal Impala, but he pretty much knew where he was. He picks up his second ace of the game. Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, that's very good. The problem with the sign Radu's looking at is that it doesn't have kilometers. And you're always kind of a bit distrusting Kyrgyzstan because you can often see signs that say like Bishkek is that way, and you're on the complete other side of the country. So maybe he's a bit like, and I don't think he knows the second city on it either because I don't recognize it either.
He drops a pin. He's going to get a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
If he doesn't move it back. And no time will run out. So he will lose some points, but he will actually be on the right road just too far away. That's probably a very lucky last second adjustment from Radu. Saves him a shot at still winning this, given the numbers that L49 is putting up here. 4,858 for Radu. So the advantage will go towards Tal Impala. But yeah, maybe practice starting to pay off after 3 rounds for Tal Impala.
And I think it wasn't even that lucky for Radu in the end. I mean, it was probably lucky that he moved his pin, but not at the location he moved it to, because the road he was on earlier, I don't know if you can really look at the map there, probably not anymore, but the street near Osh just is it's kind of at a slightly different angle than the one they were actually at. So there was just that little part just to the east of Osh that could have fit. But if you don't go for that, then it's got to be the one he went for in the end.
Okay, so that's probably it. This slight angle differential does mean he guesses with a similar facing road closer towards the city in the end, and so does manage to pick himself up a few points. Okay, well, with that, let us jump into round number 4. I should push the play button.
Let us enter the round of death.
Oh, this is the dead end on both sides.
Yes.
I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is the round of death. Anybody who played this seed hated this one.
I mean, the people who got it didn't.
But I guess if you know it, you know it, but there's not a whole lot to help you.
Yeah, it's easily recognizable if you know where it is. Like that building that Radu is looking at right now is very recognizable, but that's pretty much the only information you get on that round.
Yes, also the pretty heavy snow coverage on the ground can help as well.
Technically, but well, it can help you recognize it, but it's in an area that generally doesn't have snow coverage. So again, if you don't know the location, you're not going to find it.
But L49 zooming straight away, not too far from their last point, and he does seem to know where he is given that practice. So it's really, really starting to show here.
Yeah,
I
had that location in practice once as well. So I recognized it when I was playing that seed, but I just couldn't remember where it was because I think in practice I didn't notice it was a dead end on both sides, so I didn't consciously remember it. Otherwise, I probably would have. So yeah.
Yeah, and Radu looking at a probably more realistic location, but
Yeah.
where there's more snow coverage, to put it that way. But it's very far off. It's quite unfortunate. If he actually guesses there, that will pretty much cost him the game. L49 doesn't seem to be willing to give up many points today, so he should not be hoping for any kind of a miracle comeback. So
yeah, that's sort of the area I would expect someone to guess who practiced a lot but didn't really get that location or didn't remember that location. He does guess in an area that has quite a bit of snow. The thing I can't say, because I looked at it afterwards, Tall Impala actually told me that he was going to go either for this location or the one Radu is guessing right now. But the one Radu is guessing, the Obmok Pass, actually has a different time of day. It's a lot more sunny in that location.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so really paying off. A little bit hard for him to pinpoint, but he will still get 4,996. As you can see, he is leading all players so far, at least when he played it, at least. And Radu, with only 45 seconds left, is quite a ways away from it. Let's see if he comes to any realization here in the last 30-odd seconds or so. That'll put him closer to where we really are.
Yeah, I think the location I guessed was somewhere around Susamir, a bit east of where Radu guessed right now, where it fits with the weather, but it just, where he's looking at right now. It fits with the weather, and also the snow, but it's a bit more windy, and I think that the landscape also looks a bit different there.
Yeah, a bit tricky. We're pretty much just waiting to see if Radu will move his pin, but he seems at least relatively confident he's in that area in general. Trying to judge some curves. And he'll run out of time. 364 points. Brutal, brutal, brutal round for its RC. Will cost him dearly. Hand us quite significant lead to L49 going in with only one round to make any kind of comeback. So, yeah. Yeah, I think you pretty much said it all already, Calamity, that, your time of day might have been the only real clue to differentiate between one or two locations.
Yeah, either time of day or, as I said, that one building. But again, it's just, you gotta have gotten that in practice and memorized it. Otherwise, you've got no chance.
Yeah, and Tall Impala definitely showing that skill for sure. As we get into round 5, he's got 19,965 points against Radu's 15,201. 4,900 odd, 700 odd point lead.
Yep.
So pretty much an entire round he's got. And it doesn't look like he's going to give up many points here either. So
I don't actually think there's anything too useful on that sign. I've got this weird thing in my head where I really recognize this location. Oh, now I know where it is. Never mind.
Well, yeah, that pretty obvious sign there from on L49
looking
screen
in the wrong country. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, if he moves a bit, like 200, 300 meters further to the south, which he's going to do right now,
he'll see
find the sign.
A rare sign with kilometers on it. You see many signs, but even rarer are those that actually tell you the distance.
That's actually a mean sign though, because Akmuts is relatively difficult to find. It's just south of Narin. So, and you can only really see it if you zoom in around Narin, as Tolimpala did just there. And Torogard is the name of a pass that's on the southern border of Kyrgyzstan, and that pretty much doesn't show up at all until you zoom in really far, which is very, like, it's not something you'd expect for something that tells, like, where it says you're 170 kilometers away from this.
Interesting.
Yeah, like usually you'd expect a town or city or whatever it is that's so far away to show up on the map.
Yeah, so yeah, Kyrgyzstan putting some interesting stuff on the signs for sure. It does look like Radu is in the same general location.
I don't think he is actually. I think he's too far north.
Okay, I knew he was zooming in close to Narin, so that was what I was going off of. Maybe he moved.
Yeah, I'm not too
jumping
sure.
back and forth between screens here. So
I think if I recognize the area you put it in correctly, it should be like west of the big lake, just like a bit further west than the other road there, the one we had in the Division 1 matchup last time.
So again, Tolimpala showing off his practice as he's already looking to figure out where exactly he is and just guesses a little far off. Stop clicking so fast.
Radu's about
4,994. He'll get that sign. Radu gets that sign.
Yeah, Radu is about 10 seconds from that sign away from the good one, and he's not going to look for it.
Oh, and he's gonna put us way off. Don't move your marker. You got 20 seconds.
I mean, at this point, he should move his marker, just not there.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, let me rephrase that. Don't go there. Go more south. No, there's the sign. Is he going to see it? No, he misses it. Oh, no.
If he recognizes them, no, he doesn't. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't recognize. It doesn't even help him begin with.
Yeah.
And he'll run out of time. And 1,267. So he'll fall even further behind in that final round. Well, let's see if we can get a shot at that overall screen.
Yeah.
For the total scores there.
If Radu would have either recognized the sign, which is entirely possible, I think I had that location and that sign a couple of times in practice. I think 10 seconds would have been enough to at least get somewhat close, get like within 2-3 kilometers. If you don't recognize the locations, you'll probably need quite a bit of time or getting lucky to find it in a minute or two.
Yeah. So L49 only dropping 41 points, right? Total in that round. Very good performance from him. His practice did indeed pay off in the end versus Radu, who has a total of 16,468 points. So yeah, another win for L49. That should bump him up in the tables, make his standing look a little bit more like his performances have been seeming him worthy. And Radu there will struggle to keep that upper half position, depending on how the other matches play out this week.
16,000 points is still not a bad score by any means in Kyrgyzstan. But yeah, you probably wouldn't expect to win with it. It could have definitely gone worse.
Could have gone worse, but he would have liked it to have gone better for sure.
Yeah.
So who will these two be facing off against in Pennsylvania next week, Calamity?
Americans. Tolimpala will be playing against Blockchain Prenup, and Radu will be playing against Teskotak, who I think is currently leading the division.
He is, yeah. So definitely a tough competitor for Radu next week with an American on home soil who's already leading the division. But L49 probably fancies his chances, even against an American, to take a win off of there. So, yeah. So we'll see you all next time in Pennsylvania. Take care.
Bye.